what is your like goal in league, and what is like why do you want to like get coached?
So basically, it's like improving and like self-improving through league.
Yeah.
Uh, I've like played this game for many years. I think like 10 years or so.
Mhm.
And the last couple or 3 years, I've been more focused on improving as a player.
Yeah.
Um, I joined the MLA, which is like, I don't know if you know Coach Curtis,
Mhm.
his coaching program, and I'm still here on his coaching program.
Okay.
And little by little, I kept improving. Like I went from plat to diamond and from diamond to master.
Yep.
And right now I'm like in a plateau in some way because last split I hit master easily. Now I'm having a bit more trouble. I'm hovering between D2 and D3 a lot.
Mhm.
Um, um, like I have my theories because I'm a bit busy with my studies because I'm finishing my degree.
Yeah.
But I'm also really want to like look at my gameplay and whatever you can spot because like I have my own coaching program and
Yeah.
I get coaching one or like from month to month. But also like another point of view would be nice for you
Yeah.
to see and
Of
like
course.
give me some insights
Mhm.
of you like any trends or anything you can see.
Yeah. And I mean, mainly right now you play Irelia, I see.
Yeah, like my champion pool, this split, last split, it mainly is Irelia and Azir.
Mhm.
I'm like hovering different champs or like playing one more than the other depending on meta. Right
Mhm.
now, I feel like Azir is not that good, especially in solo queue.
Mhm.
So I'm playing him less and focusing more on Irelia, and I'm having some games with like other champions like Syndra, Talia, because these champions I can play them in a decent level. So if I'm forced to play AP or in a spot where Irelia is really bad, I think I can put a decent performance. But
Mhm.
mainly it's like one trick pony Irelia.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I see you usually go Blade and then Witsend if you're facing AP mid. Yeah. And then otherwise you go Thunder Sky a lot of the time.
Yeah, like my main build, I don't know if it's conventional or not, but it's a Borg, of course. And then it depends if I want to focus on armor or magic resist.
Mhm.
Also, depending of if whether I go Mercs or Tabis because of the game.
Yep.
But if I go with Zen, I normally like Sundered Sky. And if I want to get Death Dance, I usually want to get Trinity
Mhm.
just
Okay.
for the stats they give me. Like Woodsen gives me attack speed, which Standard Sky doesn't, and Death Dance on its own doesn't give me attack speed, for example, but Trinity does. So
Mhm.
it's like getting a bit of everything. That's like my routine build I'm getting these days.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's look at the game. First of all,
Yeah.
what is like your plan when you get into this game?
So like I know that this matchup and like the Zac jungle, they can be very aggressive.
Mhm.
So it's not survive, but like dying the least amount possible. But like on the Fitz matchup, which is not matchup I normally face,
Mhm.
it's like trading blows, but like trying to get advantages through, especially on this game on tempo on TP because he's going ignite.
Yep.
So if I can get good trades and then maybe freeze, getting advantages through there, it's not necessarily. I don't really need to kill him to win,
Yep.
at least on the 1v1 lane. And then overall on the game, I think it really is not in a bad spot for teamfights on into their enemy comp. Like the main champion that it's annoying for me is the Zac, but the other ones I can like play the fights smoothly.
Yep. All right. I think the main thing with this matchup, you said it, you don't play it that much, but it's like I don't see how this guy kind of wins the matchup because for me, you take short trades. If he wants to win, he kind of has to all in you, right? With how his champion works, and you use W that all in, and I think you should be winning.
Yeah.
Is the way I'm thinking, and otherwise you just take short trades and you sustain up that with your Q generally. So I don't think he has a lot of win conditions outside of like looking for roams, etc.
Yeah, exactly. And later on, I have better side laning than him, I believe.
Yeah.
And the more items I got, the better my long trades
Mm-hmm.
get into him, I believe.
I would play this a bit differently already. Like I would, for example, maybe auto attack this minion, something like that, so that you can potentially, like, when he goes for that minion right here, you can Q
Yeah.
auto him, and then you will have 2 more minions you can Q back on later if you want to. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I see.
Because
What
here
do
it
I do?
becomes a bit awkward, right? Because you Q here and then you want to reach him, and then you realize you just can't. And
Yeah,
here
exactly.
it's fine if you wanna like look for something like right here. This is fine. I don't like that Q.
I dodge fits E
Yes, but I
there,
think
I believe.
you just win the trade afterwards, no?
Really? Let me see.
Because he has his E
No.
here, right? If he lands it, like, for all I care, you just auto attack him and then you like twice or something, and then you can Q back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or even like auto attack, or maybe kill him.
Yeah.
But I don't want him to proc the electrocute. But you're right in that.
Yeah. I think you just have more time, because for me, I think one big difference between really good Irelia players, especially in lane, and like not as good Irelia players, emo, is how you weave in your auto attacks. It's the same thing if you face a really good Yasuo player. You will see how
Yeah.
people like E in and they like Q auto, these kind of things on Yasuo, and it's the same thing on Irelia. You permanently want to like Q forward, go for an out attack, Q backwards, these kind of things. So you want to set up your minions for that, right? And often,
Yeah.
even if he gets like an out attack back, you will just dive steal at the same time, right? And you will just be winning because of that. And here, now we've kind of pushed the wave quite hard because we started out-attacking these minions instead, like right here. You see what I mean? So instead of out-attacking the melee creeps early on, right here,
Yeah.
now we start out-attacking these to create our Qs, and now we're pushing quite heavily towards him. You see what I mean?
Yeah. And do you think it's bad to push him in? Because like my game plan here was to stack into him bouncing into me, and then I'm in a safe spot for the Zac ganks.
Yes, I don't think it's like theoretically bad. Here's the only thing you have to be careful of, right? You preferably, first of all, in mid lane, you want to crash the third wave, right? And the reason for this is that if you crash the second wave like this, now the wave is going to be on his side, it's going to be pushing towards you. This means you're going to be having to stand over here when he hits level 3 before you. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So generally, you don't want to crash the second wave, right? You're playing Irelia, so it can be a bit fine, right? But you're gonna see it right here probably. How okay, now he's level 3 and you're level 2. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like a perfect spot. It's not like the biggest deal, but preferably if you can, you want to slow down this push so you can crash it on the third wave, and then right now he would be clearing this. You see what I mean? And you're still not gonna get ganked by Zac. Like if it's maybe a Jarvan, something like that, I could understand it a bit more because you're scared of him ganking early. But Zac is not gonna gank you like pre-free because he's not gonna have E yet. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and obviously we see him on this ward. Normally, I would go for Raptor ward when I crash this otherwise, but we already have one, right? So I think this ward is fine.
All right.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that the way I wanted to, or like my theory onto this matchup is that I want him to. So I want to trade when he's slow pushing into me and his wave is not that big. I like my trades shouldn't be on their side of the lane, but on my side. So that's like why I wanted to, because I don't mind respecting the level 3 here.
Yeah.
And on the next tour, next or the other wave, I can like try to get the trades.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I think here, like, and this is once again, it's like it feels like you give him more space. I don't think it accomplishes anything here, so I don't really hate it. But normally, if you have a minion to dash on like this, like you should just walk forward probably instead of walking backwards. Emo, you know what I mean?
Forward. What do you mean, to try out of him and then go back to the minion or something?
Yeah,
like
for
that?
example, or like normally, as I said here, it doesn't matter too much, right? Because he doesn't have anything to stay for. But a lot of times he's gonna like be last hitting or something like this, or he wants to play in position, right? You see what I mean? So whenever you walk forward, he's gonna have to respect that, and you just have more position in lane. Make sense?
Yeah.
Because here you're giving him a lot of space.
Yeah, but don't you think he's stronger than me at this point? Like level 3 feeds into level 3 Irelia, and electrocute feeds.
I think the only thing you should be scared of is like if he, what's it called, like if you can't get stacks, right? If you can't get stacks, yes, he's stronger. But like even if he's slightly stronger at some points, he's not gonna 100-0 you. Agreed?
Like, yeah. But
so,
like what I was concerned is him like getting a decent trade onto me, because if we do a 50-50 trade, I think it's better for him, because then I'm in a. Although
I don't think so.
Although I retain a bit of HP, then he has a higher kill threat on me.
Yes, that makes sense, but like as you said at the start, right? One of the big things you want to play for this game, right, is the fact that you have TP and he has Ignite, right? Whenever you take an even trade, you can just decide, okay, I'm good. And you use back and you reset, and then you come back on full HP and he's off HP.
All right.
You
Yeah.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you want to use this TP advantage not by AFKing the lane. If the lane becomes kind of AFK like this, right, and he's just allowed to bounce waves, then he's allowed to take even resets with you, and then you get no advantage from your TP, right? You want to trade your HP, right, so that like not so that he can all in you, right, but take short trades, slowly build up like an HP advantage, and then use TP back. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
You have 2 HP bars right now. He has 1.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like similar thing here. I would just not be scared to like trade with him a bit here. Here, I don't mind it. You go for 1 auto attack. If you want to go for 1 more, that's fine. If you're scared of minions, that's fine as well, right? Because it's like he's currently last hitting. Anytime he last hits right here, you should be punishing him. Agreed?
Yeah. At first, I think I was trying to go for my level 4 because he was 1 level up on me. But then, yeah, I go for this extended trade.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't like hate this in general. The big thing here is like that you call quits when you want to, right? Because you're not gonna ollie him, right? This so far is fine. You just need to dash back. You go for like 1 or too many, like too many autos, right? You see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably you don't play against fists that often, which is fine. But it's
No,
like if
not really.
if you look at Q cooldown as well, right? He just gets it up, right? You go out 1 out attack early here, you're completely fine. You just want to trade. You see what I mean? And I think you're probably a lot of time fine here anyways. But I guess he could ignite flash you, and that's just a risk you don't want to take.
Yeah, like I like the trade at first, but then maybe I overextend a bit, especially because same thing. He's going ignite, so I just don't want to like instantly die into him. So I believe that trade wasn't that bad. The only bad thing was that I burned my flash, so it turns out very
Yes.
bad. But like I should like quit it a bit earlier there.
And here's a time where I would use my TP advantage, right? So here you use reset on this HP. This is completely fine. If you think he can get the wave in, then it's not worth it, right? Because then you accomplish nothing. But otherwise,
Yeah.
you just reset here, you TP back, and then you hold the wave in front of your tower. Like he's just half
Yeah,
HP
sure.
for fun.
Yeah, and it's also cannon wave, so it's harder for him.
Exactly. And
Makes
he's playing
sense.
fists, right? The champion doesn't have push, right? Like, and you can't like step up to the wave or like hold the freeze right now or anything. I believe they're fucking never mind. They're just the goats, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like they just outplay you, unlucky. But this is like another thing, right? Like just being aware of like okay, what Zac can be doing, right? We had a lot of vision on him earlier. So one thing that is important to note, like right here, or even earlier actually, it's like, okay, first of all, we get like this ward, right? Which is quite good that we ended up getting this ward. Like, I don't know who plays it, but someone did. We see him when he goes on the Raptors, right? And then on top of that, you go for this ward. So we know exactly where he is, right? Right now he's taking the Wolves. We know for a fact he's taking Wolves because he hasn't shown yet. Now we see where he is. Right now we see him going bot lane. We know for a fact that he's always going to be bot side here, right? That's my point, right?
Yeah, sure.
So standing in the middle like this when we are is usually not the play, right? Usually we stand on this side then, right? Makes sense?
Yeah,
and maybe you're not scared of the dive, right? Maybe you're thinking, okay, they're not gonna dive, and then it makes more sense, right? But it's something to be aware of, right?
Yeah, it's like they can make the play, it's a bit cheesy, but it comes back to the earlier play where I burn my flash. If I have flash here, I'm better.
Yes.
But yeah, you're right in the I should stand on the other side.
Yes.
At least for like if I want to stay, which
Yes.
you said that I had to TP, at least for like 30 seconds or so he cannot make that play and he has to base.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you want to stay and if you want to reset for that matter as well, right? Because if you're resetting in the middle lane, you're still getting hit, right? So,
yeah.
Same thing. And then another thing versus like right now, if you do decide to stay, right? Let's say you are just waiting for him to take the wave. Agreed? Like that's all you're doing, and you're waiting for it to come into you. So for all I care, you step back and you just wait. You know what I mean? You like if you need to soak XP, you walk forward and you soak XP, or if you can go for the minion as well, that's completely fine, right? Otherwise, you stand back, you take a step back, right, and you wait for the wave to come into you because he might think, oh, this guy's resetting, right? So I need to hard shove now. He might use all his waves on like abilities on the wave, and then he will hard shove and you can just catch the wave early. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like especially like later or in other positions, like if you're playing like I mean, let's say you play a zero or like any mage for that matter because you played them a bit as well, right? Then it's like if you play a mage versus mage and you're like low on mana, then you might just step back, bait them to like shove the wave. If they don't shove the wave and you reset, then well, you're gonna get back in time, right? And if they do shove the wave and you're not resetting, then you're just catching the wave for free. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you don't want to like show them what you're doing. If he sees that you're like trying to catch the wave, then it's not great for you in general. So Fisk
Okay.
grabs 2 kills here. It's not super great. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, of course.
It's nice that we have a freeze though, at least. If we start falling behind versus a champion like Fizz, I wouldn't mind if you just want to rush like a cloak or something like that, right? So we get 25 MR. Like, it's not bad in general versus assassins. If you face a Kali, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and Mar on this like game as well, where they have Zac, Fitz, and Zyra was good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, versus these 3 top side, it's really good. Versus Zyra as well. Zyra you're not going to interact with early, but it's still the same thing, right? And if you want to rush like the Negatron cloak even, like that's completely fine as well. Like, I don't hate it, because your champion in general, if you get some magic resist, you're just winning long trades, right? Agreed? Like, this is how you want to play the lane. He wants an all-in. If you have a cloak, he cannot take an all-in, he will not burst you in time, and you will just get to take a long trade, right? So that's always good for you. And here we burst. Like, here I like how we play, right? Even though he's like had a lot of gold to spend or whatever, we have a good freeze, and we just punish him like for existing, basically, right? This is good. And a similar thing, like, once again, this is about being a bit aware of, like, okay, when do we want to go out, and etc., and when not. Like, this is good, we hit the stun, and we decide to keep going, and he doesn't have abilities, so it's just good for us, right?
Yeah.
And here I would spam ping that we're diving this guy. That's what I would do. Like,
Alright.
maybe...
I thought he...
Yeah, go.
I don't know the vision I had, but I thought he based here.
Right, and we can go back to literally 2 minutes when I was talking about, right? He's not showing, so you think he's resetting. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
He could very well be staying here. Right. And we can even look your vision just to make it easier to coach in that sense. No, but it's like, you have to be aware of the fact that he might greed and he might stay here, right? And solo you cannot dive him, right? So it's like, maybe your jungler will not listen when you ping him, right? Like, that's very likely. Like, I'm not saying he will listen, right? Oftentimes he will not, but at least you make an effort if you're diving him. And if you think, okay, like, let's say on the last wave, okay, maybe you, like, forgot that he could say or whatever. Let's just say. Or maybe jungler could not be there. Here, 100% same thing. You see what I mean? This time you know he's staying. Agreed?
Yeah.
And maybe you're scared of the sack at some points. Then, okay, it's maybe a bit of a risky dive. If we see him, it's for sure free. Agreed?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Alright, we take a reset, Diego.
Do you think this reset is fine, or should have a stayed there?
No, the reset is fine, I think.
Okay.
Like, in general, like, I don't think it's like a perfect reset, but because preferably we want to keep laning against him, right? But we also run out of mana. We're playing Irelia, which...
Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah, so it's like, if you could stay maybe like until the cannon wave like you did here, it's usually good. If you can't, then, well, it's a bit unlucky, right? But here I think it's good. And now you can hold the freeze again, right? So the game is like back in the same spot, right? Like, you had a freeze, he went back to lane, and you punished him off it, and then you like pushed in, and then you could have looked at dive, and now it's back in the same spot right after you reset, right? So in general it's good. And I just want to do the same thing, right? And if you want to, like, once again, ping your jungler, like, okay, we can play on this freeze, right? Now it's not frozen anymore, I think, but that's fine, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, in general, if Fizz has to stand over here, right, versus Rek'Sai, I don't mind if you try to, like, look for a trade on him or something like that, right? And if he wants to trade back on you, he has to use abilities, right? So he can't use abilities to escape them.
Yeah, it's like the way it should be. Like, I should bait him into trading so he uses E and then it's gankable.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's Aqsept. If you're enjoying the coaching session that you're watching right now, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I upload coaching sessions daily right now. I also upload shorts daily. And if you're interested in seeing the sessions a bit more live and asking questions while we're going on, then just remember, I always do these sessions live on my Twitch channel, so you can go follow that, link in the description. Anyways, thank you and enjoy the video. I don't really know what we were doing around Drake. I get that Rek'Sai is like trying to steal it, and like, but we're not accomplishing anything here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I recognize now that like this was totally useless.
Yeah, exactly. So
maybe in game I was like a bit confused. That's why I did that. But
yeah, and that's fine. Maybe you thought you were fighting or something like that. I get it, but yeah. And I mean, here you just take a big chunk of your HP because of it, right? Because once again, if you don't have passive stacks and he gets to trade on you, then it's not good for you. But it should be fine in general. We have Aqsept, we should just steal almost full HP of this. So I think we win this as well. So yeah, it's good played. And here once again, I'm diving this guy. Like, and if you can't crash this yourself, you ping this Rek'Sai to help you crash. Because, like, sometimes, as I said, they will not listen, but you're not pinging anything about this, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It makes sense.
It's like, now he screwed over the wave
Uh,
anyways, right? But if this Fizz wanted to, he could just have frozen and reset and then come back to the lane. And now you're like in the bad position, right? Because you can't get stacks as Irelia if he's freezing in front of his tower, right? Agreed.
yeah, agreed.
So
The only thing I see is that here I didn't have mana, but apart from that,
no, yeah,
you're
yeah.
right.
No, like I'm not saying you should like push the wave out. I'm saying you tell your jungler to push the wave out, and then if you're like, sure, if you're really scared to like dive him after this, that's fine, right? But right here, like after you kill the sack, you have some mana, right? Like
Yeah, push,
no,
push, pink, and
yeah, it's like just ping him, and then it's like you. I'm very certain like Rick's can you solo dive this. To be honest, like you just need to tank for him, but it doesn't matter if you don't want to do it. Like if, for example, because you think it's a risk, then that's fine. But it's main thing, right? You just get the wave in, right? You just have to communicate what you want to do. Do we have Bork in base? Yeah, we do.
yeah.
I'm not sure. I think we stuck around a bit long. Like, I think I agree, but I went way too far back, by the way. But like we kind of hesitated in a sense if what we want to do. I don't really care
Yeah, I
what we
lost the
do.
wave because I took too much time resetting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't care too much about what we do. Like here, maybe we can go bot lane, right? Like, and that's probably what you're thinking, right? Okay, could maybe go bot lane. And it's like, but I don't know, like, because for me, it's like we start fogging, and then we clear the ward, and then we feel like, okay, we have to walk further back in case he cancels us. I think if he cancels us here, it's good for us, by the way. Like, it's quite good. Because all that happens here is if he walks in here and he cancels us recalling, then we'll take a trade. He will not kill us off the trade, agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we will just TP back, and we'll have an HP lead, and then we can push, and then we can get some plates.
Makes sense, yeah.
And it's like, if you don't want to TP here, that's fine. Like, you might want to use it for the map, so I don't blame you for that. But in general, I wouldn't be too scared. Did we not have Q earlier? Because I would just go in here, I think.
Instantly.
Yeah, I mean, once I hit the E on the sack here, I would go.
I don't know what I was waiting for.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
I think
don't
maybe.
have anything.
I mean, I think maybe you thought it was a losing fight. Like, that's the thing I could think of, right? Because for me, it looks quite free. And you don't obviously know, for example, okay, how strong this Aatrox is, right? You don't know his limits as well as like yours. But if you look at right now, you're on Bork spike, this guy's on Eclipse spike, this Ornn is literally fucking paper, agreed? Like,
yeah.
And it's like, the Syra is not a real champion at this point in the game either. Like,
No.
so I would always fight here. You stash on the sack, right? And then like you both, like you out heal their damage, the two of you. And maybe it would have changed the outcome, maybe it wouldn't have, right? But it's like either way, I would have gone earlier.
Yeah, sure. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was hard to tell for me at that moment because if you look at it, it was like, okay, we are 2v4, but like we are clearly much stronger, so we could win it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, if normally it's not like I always hesitate, but I also want to make sure that I will not go in and instantly get CC'd. In that
No,
case,
I get it.
maybe
Yeah.
I didn't recognize it properly because if I recognized it properly, I would have seen that they don't have anything and I could have won.
Yes.
But maybe that was my thought process.
Yeah. No, I agree, and it's like I see that you don't want to get CC'd, right? Because you're a champion. If it gets CC'd, you just die, kinda. So it's not great, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so you need to wait in that sense, right? But there's like a time to wait and time to not wait, right? When you hit their two CC champions with your stun, I would go.
Yep. Yeah.
Alright. After this, what is the plan now? The lane phase is kinda over to an extent, not fully, but we have both reached one item, and we want to start playing the game, right?
So right now I'm strong. I can fight with Pork. Towers have not fallen off. So I don't know if sidelining it's like my main thing I should do now. But like playing with my team and like any objectives, I can be strong on a fight.
Yep.
I don't know that. I think that's my reasoning. Also, if I mid, try to push so the Fits cannot do any plays on the map.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I should be thinking here.
Yeah. In general, we just want to fight, right? We're on our spike, we're quite strong in the game. The Fizz is not weak, but you're way stronger than him at the moment. So
Yeah.
we still no look for plays. And in general, we always push the wave right before we look for a play, like you said, so the Twitch can't look. And if he does this, then yeah, you're doing the correct thing. You just push the mid lane tower, and then if your teammates grief, then unlucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was completely fine. We get a tower. If it dies, it's good. And now, especially now, we're even stronger, right? So this Rek'Sai is a bit interesting, but yeah. I don't know what else to say. Here, you push the wave before you make this move, I think. Like, maybe you thought you could catch him when you saw him move down like this.
Yeah. I think.
But, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think that's what I thought, but you're right. Like, and I think this play goes nowhere.
Yeah,
I remember.
If you're certain that this guy is caught when he moves down here, then that's fine, right? But you have to be aware of like the factors in the game, right? Like, so for example, when you walk back to lane right here, it's not that difficult, for example, to just quickly look at what's going on around Drake, what's going on in top lane, right? If you do this, right, you can easily tell, okay, this guy's 1 HP right now versus a full HP Ornn, right? This guy is not winning lane right now, right? He's not gonna be moving anytime soon. So if you recognize this fact, right, and you see Ornn move down, you probably understand then, okay, we're not actually collapsing on this guy, right? See what I mean?
Yeah. I remember I remember going for this Ornn and then seeing that the Aatrox was super low HP. I didn't recognize it earlier on the play. So you're right.
Yeah, and like in general, like if we look right here, right now, or right here, we're resetting, right? Here we have time to think about first, okay, where are we going after this? Like what lane, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Right here, it's quite self-explanatory. We're going mid lane, right? Still in this part of the game where we go mid lane. Vayne is for like going bot lane still. So all right, you know what I mean. And then while we're walking to lane, we have quick time to analyze what's going on the map, right? You know, we can press tab, see who's strong in the game, for example. We can look around in lanes and look around in jungle. You know, these kind of things, right? We can make a plan, right? So
yeah.
For example, if we recognize, okay, maybe top lane is weak here, we could shove here and maybe we could help him out, or maybe we do the opposite, we think he's fine even though he's weak, so we just shove this and then we look bot lane, right? But my point is just that we have time to look around while we walk into lane, and before when we're resetting, we have time to decide where we're going, right? Agreed?
Yeah, agreed.
Alright. And these are the things we need to do. Now, preferably at some point we want to go side lane, right? So I would probably ping Vayne to go into mid lane, because I don't think you actually want to be mid lane versus these guys, agreed?
No, not really.
You accomplish nothing, so in general, it's not that great. I imagine you don't win this fight, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I got instantly CC'd and the Aphelios is strong.
Yeah, this Aphelios is very strong, right? So
do you think that earlier when the Vayne was already going bot, should I have pinged to go bot instead of the Vayne? Like if
you think you need to be bot lane and silent here, you ping that I'm going silent. You know?
But do you think I should have forced going bot? Like before I go top and do nothing, while I'm walking to lane, can you go back a bit?
Mm-hmm. Like right here? Or no, mind this.
Earlier?
Jesus Christ.
Earlier than that? Yeah, don't worry. So here? Should have I gone bot maybe instead of the Vayne and pinged her to go other
Yeah, mid? I think you should.
Okay.
Like, because it's like, in general, right, you don't want to be like mid lane versus Aphelios Syro, right? As I said, you will accomplish nothing, right? And they should not go bot lane anymore, right? They've just taken the tower, right? So
exactly.
If you think you can accomplish something, for example, maybe they're not that strong. Maybe they just got the tower, like, and they want, like, then it could be fine, right? For example. But it's like, you cannot do anything versus their two champions, I think, at this point in the game. Like, Syra just kind of screws you over. And, like, if you don't all in like this, like, you will never do anything, right?
Yeah.
Because they will use it tower, so.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that was a good play. I felt I was a strong, but maybe I didn't recognize if I was that strong.
No, I think you're strong in the game. I just think their champions are strong into you, and I think they're stronger than you as well at this point, so. It's like, in general, we just have to recognize, okay, both strengths and weaknesses, right? And just, as I said, press tab and just, okay, this Aphelios is a monster, you know? If this Rek'Sai, for example, doesn't get on top of him, or we don't, like, get a Gragas ult or something like that, then we're not going on him. And once again, I would just go bot lane.
Yeah, I think I go now.
Yeah, now it's good. I get that we want to move mid, like, and we end up defending the tower. The way I see it is like, with this, or wait, it's not that far back actually. Not stupid. No, but with the way I see it right now, we are not defending this mid lane tower. You know what I mean? They either get this mid lane tower or, like, you know, they don't. Like, realistically, like, maybe they cannot get it if the sack is, like, not with them or whatever. But if they decide to get this tower, they will get the tower, right? You will not go in there and then use 1v9 the game, you see?
Yeah.
So how would you say bot?
I think I was a bit scared of being bot alone.
No.
Maybe the Zakan fit was there. That's why, like, I take the time to move mid.
Yeah.
And not be overextended, I think.
Yeah, then it's fine, right? Because then it's like you're moving mid for a different reason, right? You're moving mid because, okay, I don't want to overextend and I want to get some vision so I can actually play the game. But then at that point, you need to communicate with this guy. And I'm not saying communicate by chatting with him. I'm saying communicate right by, like, pinging, okay, I need watch, right?
Yeah.
This is like, if you're taking this timer to move mid, then so that this guy can give vision, and on top of that Drake is spawning, then you need to communicate it as well, right? Because people are, like, let's be honest, people in solo queue, it doesn't matter which elo, they're stupid, agreed? Like,
of course, yeah.
So it's like, if you want to carry games, you gotta make sure that you carry the games, you know what I mean? Like, you don't assume they're gonna do stuff, right? Unless they've proven they're going to be doing stuff, right? So, for example, this Gragas, he's not proven that he's gonna ward for shit, right? Like, he hasn't proven the opposite before that either, right? But he hasn't proven that he's gonna ward, so you ping him. Okay, I want ward this way. Agreed?
Yeah, agreed.
Now, this... I mean, I guess you'd feel like you don't want to face Ornn, but I think you beat the shit out of him at this moment. Agreed or no?
I don't know why I go. Like, I don't know why I move. Can you go back?
Yeah,
because the Ornn TPs and.
Yeah, I mean, potentially you're scared to play on the bot lane side lane when Drake is spawning, and then I understand it a bit more, right? In that sense.
Let me see what I was thinking. Zack is mid.
Or maybe you're just looking to collapse on mid. I'm not sure. Either way, like, for me, it looks a bit awkward, right? Because I would want to stay on the side lane right now.
Yeah, I don't know why I go mid. Like, now I'm recognizing that I could have stayed bot. I mean, everyone was mid, so no one was on the fog of war, and I could, like, the Ornn 1v1. I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, it's like, sure, we get, like, a pick top lane, and, well, it works out, right, to some extent, but, you know, that's just arbitrary. That should not really happen.
Yeah.
This fight actually doesn't look too bad, right? This is, like, number one thing when you play champions like Irelia. We saw in the fight earlier, right? When we lost in mid lane, is how you kind of went in quite early. I'm not sure when it was, like, over here maybe.
Yeah, I remember. I get to sit on insta.
Right. So because here, like, you are the first one to go in. On your champion, you don't want to be the first one going in. Like, this is number one rule, right?
Okay, yeah.
So unless you think you can, like, one tap them or something, like, if you're completely 1v9, maybe you can do it, you know. But, like, in general, this is, like, a rule. And it doesn't matter if you're playing Irelia or if you're playing, like, any other, like, Bruiser-like champion in the game, right? Usually you don't want to be the one going in first, right? You want someone who's actually meant to engage and tank, right, to go in first, right? So, for example, here, you can see how they CC this sack, right? And here, all you do is you position aggressively, and the Aphelios cannot walk in. You see what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Right, and now it's like, because this sack is getting CC'd, right, they have nothing to peel against you. You have to wait until either, like, this Rek'Sai or Gragas finds, like, a pick on, like, these two or something like that, then you can go on them, right? Because then they're CC, they can't escape from you. Or you wait until they CC this guy, because then you can use 1v1 them. You see what I mean?
True.
Right, because now they have nothing to peel. And that's what you need to wait for. If they have both tools to peel and escape at the same time, then you're just running in and you're dying. This is a bit sad.
Yeah.
I like. Maybe Vayne kills though.
Yeah, I think we do.
Yeah, not bad. Alright, then we go Nash. I would not go over the wall like that. If general, like, everyone has a role at all stages of the game, right? If it's team fights, or if it's taking Nash, or if it's, like, playing on side lane, or whatever, right? Everyone has a role, right? Usually, it's Vayne's job to hit this Nash, right? This Vayne is dead. This means that someone else's job is to hit the Nash, right? Rek'Sai needs to tank it, well, and most likely you need to hit it, right? Because, let's be honest, this Gragas is dealing 0 damage on it, and this Aatrox deals close to 0 damage on it as well, right?
Yeah, I'm the DPS here.
Right, so if you cannot hit the Nash, then no one's hitting the Nash, right, basically. Right, if you guys feel like, okay, we cannot just finish Nash and we're gonna look for a turn or something like that, then that's a different story, that's fine, right? But if you guys are playing to finish the Nash here, you hit the Nash, right? Because when you dash over here, you accomplish nothing, right? Yeah. Right, now all of a sudden, your team just, well, we have no damage on this thing, you know what I mean? And now you go back to hitting, and I imagine Zac is gonna arrive in time. So it's a bit awkward, right?
Yeah, I trolled here.
Yeah. And it's just about remembering, okay, what is my role here, right? If you're turning, right, let's say you're looking for any sort of turn, then it's not your job to engage, right? It's the same thing as before. You don't want to be the first one to engage, unless you find a stun and you know it's like one target or something, right? Agreed?
Yeah.
Right, so you wait until your team turns, or you just hit the Nash, right? And if you for some reason think the Nash is a grief call, then you don't hit the Nash to begin with and you go mid lane, you know? Like, but...
No, of course, yeah.
But it's like in general, like you just have to think about like, okay, what is my actual job, right? Because you going in over the wall is not accomplishing anything. It doesn't actually catch the fizz. It does not make sure you get the Nash or anything, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if the Vayne is there and she can hit for you, then that's fine. Then you can play some sort of zone, right? And it can be alright. But otherwise, no. Alright, and what is the plan now? We actually got the Nash right, even after a bit of like fumbling.
Yeah, it was
whatever.
a coin flip.
Yeah.
Right now, I think the plan is like trying to split push and pressure them.
Okay.
As a team, I don't think. Well, we're not much stronger. Like we are quite even, I would say, in team fights. But like we have much better split push than them.
Yes.
So I was playing for that.
Yeah. So in general, the number one thing, and I'm sure you know that, I'm just reaffirming so you know it, when split pushing is just you have to count heads on the map, right? If you don't see people, you cannot split push, right? If you can see people, you can split push, right? Simple as. Right? You have Nash as well, right? So preferably you want to pressure like with everyone, right? And if they do this, this is fine to rotate from, right? But in general, you just push, you crash the wave, you count heads on the map. If you see 5 people, you can hit the tower. If you see 4 people and like one on the tower, like then you decide, you know, whatever. But you have to see people in order to make a play, right? If you don't see people, then another play is like, for example, go mid or whatever. Because one part of side laning, right, in the game is not just I go here, someone's standing on the tower, and then I go AFK, you know, while they clear the wave.
Yeah.
Right, for example, you can, if you can dive them, you go dive them, that's fine, right? If you cannot do that, you cannot hard win the side lane, right? If you can just hit the tower and they have to watch, like let's say the Ornn is matching you, that might be a play, you know what I mean? Like then that can be fine. Otherwise, you go, you push the wave, if no one's there, you hit the tower, otherwise you go rotate. Right? And then all of a sudden you have a man advantage on this side because they have to clear here. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
And if you cannot solo win the game through side lane, basically that's how you win through side lane, right? You just get prio on the side lane and then you rotate. Alright, we get our item now. What is the plan?
I think it's the same, no? Like, I mean, I would say like split pushing is still good. It's harder because like we have no towers to take apart from the ones in their base. So it's like split push, pressure, so we can rotate with a team with tempo into the objectives.
Right.
And then maybe play for the next Nasher.
Right. If you want to split push here, you don't go bot lane. That's the first thing, right? Like, right now you've got a mid in dip, which means you don't need to play it on this, like, wave in general if you don't, like, want to. You can potentially have someone go mid in, just make sure the wave goes in, and then you go, like, collapse on bot side. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
This is, like, how to play macro-wise. But otherwise, like, if you want to pure side lane, you go top lane here. And then your team goes bot lane. And then 4 people pressure this, and you pressure this. And then, hopefully, eventually, like, you get pressure on mid lane, and then you win through that. See what I mean?
Yeah, I see. But in this case, like, maybe I wouldn't want to be top because the wave is already pushed, no?
Sure, then you go mid lane. And you make sure this crashes in, and then they have to go clear this, and then you can push this, and then you go top lane while that's happening. You see what I mean?
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
If you, for example, feel like, okay, I cannot go top lane right now because we're taking Drake, we don't have like this wave pushed in or whatever, then that's fine. But right now we're not side laning. You know what I mean? Now the Rek'Sai is doing your job for some reason, right? Rek'Sai is the engaged this game, right? Agreed? So Rek'Sai needs to be with the team, but someone needs to be doing his job. If we're 5 people watching this tower, this is not gonna fall. Like, it doesn't break because people stare at it menacingly. Agreed?
Yeah.
Right, we have to make an active effort.
What was the point? Because right now it's, well, maybe I can force it and go straight up top, but like, when was the point that I should have gone top and decided to path towards top?
Right, so for example, you see when Drake spawns, right, you know your team is gonna play on bot side, right, first of all, right? So this is the lane where 4 people play, right? When you walk out on the map here, you go mid lane, right? Like, it's fine to take the red if you feel like you have nothing to do, right? That can be fine, but you don't help with this Drake. This Drake is, like, you're not, like, you know, this Drake is...
Yeah, it's already taken.
Yeah, exactly. So you go mid lane here when the Rek'Sai goes mid lane. You see what I mean? You take this wave, and then you go top lane. and then you take this
Yeah.
wave, and then you crash, and then you crash this at the same time, and then you like pressure both places at the same time, and then you wait for this wave. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Because I think here is where we throw the game.
Yeah, I
With
mean, I imagine.
with
Because probably someone's gonna lose their patience or something, and we're just gonna die.
a bad fight, yeah.
Oh, this doesn't look too bad so far. Let's see what happens. Ah, the wing is
Let's
one
see.
tapped, I see. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit awkward, right? I mean, yeah, like, I can talk about how we should be playing the fight, but, like, it's...
No, like
yeah, like, it's like... I mean, I can speak about at least how you're gonna play the fight, but in general, it's like, how I play it as a team, right? It's a bit awkward, right?
yeah,
Because you just need to DPS, right? And when Wayne dies, it's, like, not that winnable anymore. Like, in general, if you want to try to win this fight after this, you try to kill Aphelios. Like, that's simply it. Otherwise, you're not winning the fight. But I don't think you're killing the Aphelios, so...
no. Like what I take from this is that like I don't feel that it was my bad that my team
No.
got caught and we lost, but like it was my bad because I should have been top and I could have been done another thing.
No, I think you could have played different macro-wise, because now you had no option but to fight, right? Obviously, the fight was not good there, but like you still would have had to take a fight that's probably not as good as it could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But either way, like, it's not your fault that the team gets caught, I agree, yes. But also the game is not lost here, right? The game is still very playable.
Yeah.
Like, it's one lost fight, it sucks a bit, right? But it is what it is. Let's see here. So we go back on the map. We get the mid tower, that's fine. We get the mid wave. Here, I don't know why we're running through our jungle. Like, maybe you're thinking about going bot lane eventually or something, but I would just run straight for mid. Yeah, I don't hate this. I don't hate this TP. I don't think you have to TP. Like here, I think if you want to, you could rotate, for example. I think there's maybe some worlds where you TP bot lane, and if you think the fight is not won. But I don't think this speeds up that much, you know what I mean? But I think it's alright.
You're right.
If you think in the moment that, okay, a fight is going on, I should TP, it's better, of course, to TP than to, like, not TP, in that sense. Like, otherwise you're just gonna be wasting time, like, maybe hesitating, something like that, but...
It's just a bit awkward when I say it, like...
Yeah.
I don't know what was the play.
Yeah, and here, seems like you guys decide you want to try to end, and, well, knowing how the game ended, I don't think you end here.
Here I thought I could hit tower. Yeah, of course like they respawn and we don't have time to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the play if you can make it fast, right? But it's just too little time. I think that's the problem, right? Because if you have a range champion here, yeah, it's for sure doable, right? If you're not playing like Irelia here and any range champion, I think it's probably like you're probably in the game, right? But they can like CC you, etc., right? And it's hard for you to actually hit the tower.
Also has ult, which I didn't know.
Right. Yeah, so realistically, you just go Nash here. If you think you can end, I'm not gonna tell you to not go end, right? You should go end if you think you can, right? Like, but yeah. In hindsight, like, it's for sure like, and we learn now that okay, it's kind of hard, like especially versus their champions, right? Like Ornn, for example. Like even if he does not have ult, I don't think you're ending the game there. You get one tower. You see what I mean? Like he will still CC you against that said tower. He still like will be a menace to you, right? And you cannot permit, right? If you're playing a range champion, he has to actually commit going into you in order to hit, right? And then you can hit him back, and then you can kill him, and then you can...
Yeah, and at most they're like, how I see it is that at most I get one tower, which is like, okay, why get one tower? Like just play for tempo and play for Baron instead of getting one tower.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, it's worth it if you can end, right? Then it's fine. But otherwise, you just go Nash.
Right. Kill the Nexus.
What is the plan now?
Like... I'm not really sure. Like they just got Baron, so it's our turn to defend. Keep waves pushed, don't get caught, and like defend our towers in base.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. When Strike spawning? Oh, now it's spawning. I don't know what I was thinking at the moment. Right now, I don't feel like the Baron is the Drake is fightable, or at least worth fighting. Because like. We don't win 100%, so I would play for pushing the waves and give them Drake because it's not even soul.
This is theoretically the correct play. What I will say is that this will never work in solo queue, because there's no way your team is gonna sit there and say, enemy has Nash, so let's just push waves. No, this will just not happen. Like, even if it's the correct play, even if you try to convince them, it will just not. They will go, they will run in, and they will die. You know? So the correct answer is you should probably take a fight, or you should at least, like, if you realize the fact that you will really just lose a fight even if you're there, you just go top lane or something, you just push, you know, and you put pressure on the map, right? Like, because just pushing the waves, like mid lane wave here, and just defend, this will not happen, right? Agreed?
Yeah, makes sense.
If you think, like, if it's like, I mean, I don't think you play comp, right? But if it is comp play, then yeah, it's the correct play to give the Drake for sure. But I think it's all
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen.
I play comp with the team as well.
Okay. Yeah, then it's fine to give the Drake, yeah, for sure. But right here now. And it's like, if you feel like you can't fight, then yeah, it's fine. But then I would be top lane here and not mid lane. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. Either way, even if let's say for some reason like your team does not like decide to fight here, like, and you just give the Drake. One thing is that enemies should probably just push and not take Drake themselves. They should just take Drake on the next play. And the other thing is that you being mid lane accomplishes nothing because it's not like you're gonna clear the wave. You know what I mean? Like you're just
So
gonna yeah, go on.
You're saying that they're like the theoretical play is that we don't want to fight this Drake, so we will just push, and because we just want to push and not fight Drake, their best play is not to go Drake and push us and get pressure and then
Yes,
go to Drake.
no,
right?
what they want to do, right? You just got Nash. I mean, theoretically, the best play, right? When you get Nash, you want to use this Nash as much as possible, right? If they push 2 waves, if you for some reason go Drake, for some reason, they will literally end the game.
Yeah.
Right, so you cannot go Drake. It's not physically possible, right? If enemy decides to not play Drake, which once again is solo queue, it's not gonna happen, right? But so realistically, they should just push, right? And then they will have position, right? And then whenever they decide we're done pushing, then they leave and then they take Drake on the way, right? And if you wanna chase them, you're probably dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so that's like the idea in general. Like, but either way, if you're not fighting Drake here, you're accomplishing nothing by standing mid lane, right? That's the main point, right? Because you're not gonna like clear the wave. It's Nash minions, and you know better than anyone probably that Irelia does not deal very well with Nash minions. So
yeah, of course.
you just go top lane and you clear the wave and you put pressure on the other side. And when someone comes to you on side lane, then you just leave and then you go mid lane and you force a fight. And if they don't like try to match you on side, then you just keep pushing. And you pray your team does not grief. It's like, if you think you can take a fight, then it's fine to be mid lane, right? Or like, if it's solo queue, you're like, okay, let's take a fight, you know? Or whatever. Then it's fine to be on mid lane, and you get ready for a fight, and you follow up on the engage, right? But it seemed like you don't want to take a fight, even if like, what's it called, your team is going to, right? So then you should just always have been top lane. Because right now, let's imagine like you were top lane, like, I don't know, 30 seconds earlier, right? You would already be like over here.
Yeah,
they're taking Drake
sense.
right now. Drake has not even spawned. You can easily hit this tower. Alright, what is the plan?
Keep defending, I guess, no?
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have to be more complicated than that.
Okay.
if you think the best play right now is wait out the Nash 40 seconds and then do something, that's fine. Then the only question becomes, what are we doing after that?
Yeah, so I think like when the play or like what I should want to do is like wait out the Nash, lose the least amount of possible, because of course like we cannot defend this top tower or other towers maybe if they force the push, but then I think I would go to the what we were doing earlier, which is like, or what should have I done earlier, which is a split push.
Yes.
And play for that.
Yes. If you are not fighting, like looking for a team fight with this champion, I do not understand why you're on mid lane. You know? I think you can agree. Unless you have literally nowhere else to be, right? But if you like, but the only time you have nowhere else to be is where like you can't go side lane because someone's matching you on side lane. And if they're matching you on side lane, you should probably look for a fight. Agreed?
Yep.
So, in general, it does not make sense to me why you're just standing around mid lane because you accomplish nothing, right? And sometimes it's like, it can be easy to like autopilot it, right? But the same thing as before, right? Whenever you take the reset, you think about, okay, what do I want to do on the map? And then you evaluate what's going on while you're walking back to lane, right? But you have to be aware of the fact when you're resetting, right? You just think about, okay, what are we doing next? Are we taking a fight? Do I like, and if the answer is just to, okay, wait out the Nash, then how do I do that, right? Am I supposed to wave clear? With Irelia, probably not. So I'll just go side lane. Right.
So here I should have path bot. Do you think?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like if you like here, I don't actually like hate it that much, right? Like you're taking wave. Maybe you wanted to look for a fight here, but here, like you now they're top lane. You just go bot lane. You insta shove this wave, and then like they have to defend this as well, and then maybe you can look for something.
Yeah.
But here you just walk at Aphelios, and then like look, you're standing around. You see what I mean? And then you end up taking a fight here, and, well, looking at the Aphelios guns, you probably lose this fight.
Yeah, Winston lose this.
Yeah. It's just not a great fight, right? Because in general, if you want to win a team fight, there's a few things, right? One is that, like, you kind of have to have them go into you. If you run into them right now, like, I'm not saying like you, like individually, but in general, like, if you run into them, they will CC you, right? And then these two will hit and you will die. Right?
Yep.
So you kind of have to have them run into you, and how do you force them to run into you? Well, you have to play the map, right? And, well, it's solo queues, it's not going to happen, right? But in general, for example, you go side lane, you make sure someone's on the, like, map, or, like, someone's going bot lane, then you rotate, maybe you have some position, they run into your position, you use wait objectives. You see what I mean? This is the play.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right, and if, like, there's no objectives to play, then maybe there's no fight to take. And we don't lose off this, I guess, because of the timer, but we should probably lose here.
I think we clean, but then we lose.
Alright. Well, the game is in a bit of a rough spot, I think we can agree, yes?
Yeah, it's a bit like lost.
So how do you
already,
think we
I don't
win
know.
here?
Win.
There's
They
always
need
a
to
win
make a
condition.
mistake.
Well, there's always a win condition, right?
Yeah, like, but I think win condition here is them making a mistake, no?
Yeah, for
Or-
example, right? Often that is, right, the case, so some team is going to be winning. How do you make it, like, how do they make a mistake then?
Like, we need to stack somewhere, get a pick or something.
That's one option, right? You could stack somewhere, right? So one option is just, do you win on side lane?
Like, so I don't think we'll lose on side lane, or at least I don't feel like we lose. But it's much harder than before, and it's
Yes.
easier for them to defend and
Yes.
like be more people on a side lane. So I don't see it that clearly to go side lane here.
Right. My thought process is, if you go mid lane and you take a 5-5 fight, you will almost always lose it. Agreed?
Yeah,
You
agreed.
can, like you said, death push somewhere, but realistically, you don't need to be there for the death push, right? Like, I think you should go side lane, not because you're gonna win off the side lane, you're not just randomly gonna end the game, right? Most likely. It has happened before, but it's not gonna happen, agreed?
Yeah.
Like, so all you go side lane for is because these guys will get confused, right? I promise you, people don't understand how to deal with side lane. You go side lane, this Fizz will start having a stroke. He will be like, what is going on, you know? And then he will start going there, and then Zac starts going there, and then all of a sudden, like, you don't keep pushing, and then Aphelios is like, let's look for a fight, and Aphelios get caught. You just see what I mean? People
Yeah,
make mistakes.
Yeah, absorb pressure and like force them to do mistakes,
Right.
or have them
Right.
get a higher chance of.
Because if you go mid lane and they see all 5 people on the map, they feel safe. They have however much time they want. They don't have to take a fight if they don't want to. They could just do the same thing I just talked to you about. They could just push the wave and then wait until we have to run into them. Right?
Yeah.
If you go on side lane, they realize the game is on the clock, right? Because if they don't deal with the side lane at some point, you will end the game, right? So they have to deal with you on side lane. And then it's like, who's dealing with you on side lane? Well, someone is supposed to do it, right? If it's Fizz or if it's Ornn, I don't care, right? But most likely they don't understand who's gonna do it, right? So someone's gonna try to force a fight, they're gonna overextend, or someone, like, too many people are gonna go on side lane, or like they try to like force a fight and they don't even win the fight and then you send the game, something like that, right? People get stressed out because they realize they're on the clock, they need to defend this. And when people are stressed out, they make mistakes. Right, so you have to apply pressure, right? Just make sure they're stressed out permanently. Agreed?
Yeah, agreed.
And instead, it seems like we're just gonna take a fight and we're just gonna lose the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not saying we would have won the game if you play it differently, right? Like, from this point on, like, obviously not. But I'm saying you could have done different.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it's not like we,
Yeah.
we won this game. If they play good, of course, like, we 100% lose.
Yes.
But like, try to force any mistakes or just play for anything.
Right. So it's like hard to do anything from this point, obviously. But in general, it's just looking to do the most, right? We try to play as good as possible.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions about this review?
I don't think so. Not really. I think I got it pretty clear. Like, I don't think that game was how to say it, because I don't think that was. If I played it better, I think I could have won. And
Yes.
like, you made me see like I had, because now I'm seeing like the idea of like, okay, I should be split pushing and all of that. But on the moment, I wasn't like finding the opportunity or like finding myself in the spot where I'm exactly split pushing and getting those advantages.
Mhm.
And like I was, I don't know, maybe I was autopiloting or something,
Mhm.
and just playing with my team and losing fights because of that.
Yeah, it's easy to
Because
autopilot, right? So yeah.
yeah, because on other champions or on other comps, like maybe that's the right decision to do, especially if
Yeah.
I find myself strong. But on this case, it was not that good of a play.
Right. I mean, I think usually, oftentimes, I mean, you're basically this season one tricking the champion, right? Like basically,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Oftentimes, you are gonna want to split push with the champion. This is where it's strongest. It's strong in the 1v1, right? And if it goes to team fights, right, then you're gonna get CC'd and you're gonna die often, right? This is why
yeah,
Irelia is not a pick in pro play, right? Usually, it doesn't mean
yeah,
the champion is bad. The champion still works, right? And you can team fight, but you just have to make sure you get some advantages through side lane, right? You're not gonna go Fiora and just run mid lane. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with
no,
this
of
champion.
course.
You're
Yeah,
gonna do something on the sideline first, and then you're gonna make sure that you get some advantage, right? Now, other thing I have to mention is like maybe you don't want this much armor. I get that Aphelios is strong, right? But he's also solo AD this game, so I don't know. Maybe going like something else, like Aqsept or something, because they have a lot of magic damage, right?
yeah. Like my idea on the build was well, that last item was meant to be a Randuin
Yeah.
because of Aphelios. Like when well, the first thing I thought when I saw the enemy come was like, okay, if I go full magic resist and the Aphelios doesn't get much fed, it's so free
Yes.
because like for the build, but unlucky, I guess.
Yeah, no, and I get why you want the randomize as well, but I promise you, this guy is still killing you even if I randomize, right? So, like,
Yeah.
the randomize doesn't help you in that sense. You have to kill the Aphelios or you don't win.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my take at least. And maybe you could go like GA if you really want something like that, but I don't think GA is a good item, something like that. But
Actually, I think like the best item there is going like Seekers and just trying to stop Witch
yeah, I
and
mean,
flip a play.
potentially, right? But my point is just that like just going flat out armor won't save you here, right? He's solo AD and he still kills tanks, right? Because he's full build and he's Aphelios.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Alright, and then otherwise it's like just being more aware, right, of what you want to do on the map, right? And for example, in this lane we spoke about like using your TP advantage, etc. These kind of things, right? And actually like trading aggressive on Irelia, setting up your minions a bit better, right? It's something you can look at like solo a bit more. Okay, am I setting up my minions right? Because it's something really good Irelia players do. I would probably suggest looking at some Irelia players as well, right? Because there's some one tricks, right? And they all do it really well. So Irelia King, for example, right? These kind of things.
Yeah.
And if you can look at how they do it, right? How they set up minions, then I think you can learn a lot from it as well. Right. Any questions or no?
No, not really. That's
Right.
it.
Awesome. Then I don't have anything else for you. Then thank you for signing up, of course. And
yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. No worries.